What's up divas, and what's up divos? It's your girl April, and I'm back to do a quick update. Well, it's not really a quick update. This is basically how I did my U-part wig, which is going to be for the giveaway that I made for a giveaway. This hair was by shophairextensions.com, and it was actually virgin Brazilian hair, 3 bundles of 20 inches, and it's natural color, natural state, and to me it looks more like a color number 2. I constructed this U-part wig myself, and I decided to make it to do a giveaway. If you haven't seen the initial video of inexpensive hair extensions, which was by shophairextensions.com, then I will post that below. They really have nice hair on their site. It is from overseas, and it is very inexpensive. 1 bundle for a 20-inch virgin Brazilian. It is in Euro, but there is a converter on the site, so you can actually get the actual price. And I think, if I'm correct, it was either $55 or $59. I'm not really sure, for 20 inches of virgin Brazilian wavy. So I have 3 bundles of that, and I was just going to give it away, but I said, you know what, I'm going to make a U-part wig, because there are a lot of ladies who want a U-part wig and don't know how to make a U-part wig. And a U-part wig is really actually standard size to me, because you cut it open and you put it on a cap. You put it on the cap and you cut it open. But my technique, what I like to do is I like to put it on these caps here. There's no comb sewed into this unit. These caps here are the adjustable weaving caps, and they're lots different than those fishnet caps. And I like to make my U's awful small, really, really tiny, so that way when you cut them, they actually look like this when they're done. They're the actual right amount of hair for a leave out. And the reason why I say this is because you may say, oh, okay, this is before you cut it. Like, pretend this wasn't cut. Oh, this is how I want my leave out to look. I want to leave this much hair out. But once you cut this open, it opens up into a gigantic leave out amount that you were not anticipating, like you didn't expect. So you end up having to leave more hair out. So that is the reason for me making them so tiny. And then it's like the perfect amount, and that's how I did this one. Perfect amount of leave out. So with this video being said, I'm not going to keep you any longer rambling on, running my mouth. I'm going to show you how I constructed this Brazilian virgin wavy U-part wig, and you can check the next video, and I'll post that below, of the giveaway for this. It's really going to be a cool, fun giveaway, and I hope you enjoy it. And this video is the full tutorial on how I did this. A little speed up time, but the full tutorial. So this is the 3 bundles that I received from shophairextensions.com, and each bundle is 20 inches, and they're 4 ounces a piece, and the 20 inches virgin Brazilian wavy hair. The hair color to me looks more like a color number 2, and that's what it says on the actual package. And excuse me, it's not wavy, it's curly. So what I like to use with the actual U-part is my own technique, rather. I like to use the nylon thread and the deluxe weaving cap, which comes with an adjustable strap. And to me, I like these a lot more better than the dome caps, which kind of are heavy and actually can fit a little bit too big, and also are awful hot. Now for my mannequin head, I haven't gotten around to getting like one of the professional ones, but for right now I'm just using a styrofoam, and I have tape around it just to build up the circumference of my actual head size, as well as that, as I've marked on the mannequin where I like to place the end of my wig cap, so that shows exactly where it's at on the nape of my head. I do like to use straight pins with my U-part wig. I'm just going to start at the bottom, and I'm just going to put a couple of straight pins. That helps just to keep the actual weft track in place, so you have a better chance of it not going on crooked and so forth. What I do to my ends is I kind of do like a loop through the thread, and then I'll triple knot it and do it a second time just to make sure it's secure. And I do that by going inside of the track, especially when it's at the ends, and just loop your thread around the needle 3 times, and you make the perfect knot. And for this, I'm just going to do it the easy or fast method. Usually I'll just take the thread, go through the needle, and loop it over, so that way you kind of have like a ladder effect. But this is just as secure, and it does save a lot of time. So you just want to do this all the way to the end, and once you get to the end, I'll show you how I kind of secure that. but the straight pins do come in handy. As you can see, I do remove them as I go along. Sometimes I can just leave them in as long as they're not in the way, but for the most part I don't really need them in the middle. I just really need them on the ends, just to hold the track in place, and it gives my hands a lot more freedom. So with this, I'm not going to cut the track. I'm just going to fold it over, and I usually start cutting the tracks once I get up to more or less the top area, because it helps to lay the hair flatter. So that's when I'll start cutting the track. So what I did was I just double knotted it at the end, and I also put a knot above where I want to begin sewing. As you can see where I'm tugging, that's where I'm going to just flip my needle over, or rather my weft over, and just continue. So I'm just going to do this all the way to the end of this row, and just keep looping it. And just, you don't have to pull it too tight, but just want to make sure that it's secure.
Superstar. This is Vibe.
Now I'm at the end, and this is probably about the 4th row or 5th, and I'll just double knot it and just fold my track over and just continue just looping and sewing until I get to the next end. So I would say probably about, not even 1/3, but 25% of the wig has, you know, been constructed so far. And it's just really easy. You just gotta kind of make sure that your track stays in line, because when I first started making them, the track was a little bit crooked. I wasn't using any straight pins, and my hands were getting tired because I had to constantly hold, you know, the hair, you know, in place. But as you can see, I'm not really using the straight pins now. I'm just gotten kind of used to it. Now, here's the form. The track is forming, or rather the U part is forming. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of help the U shape a little bit better. So as you can see, I'm just kind of measuring off from the middle right here, not the entire width, but just from the middle. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the piece of hair off after I find the exact length that I want to use. And it's just going to help the U form a little bit faster and a lot better, because a lot of times it can get really tricky when you're just going around and kind of like a circle or U shape. It seems to me like the U doesn't form. So I cut the piece off. I cut a piece off, and I'm going to do this twice. So this is the first row I did just to help the U form along. And you just want to do basically the same thing, is double knot your end, just stitch your ends however you feel more comfortable. I like to do it my way, but I feel like just helping the U form along kind of gives me a lot better U shape, opposed to just keep going around in a circle. I never could get it like that. So this to me helps a lot. So you want to do this about 2 times. All depends on really how wide you want to start forming the U. But this does help shape it along the way. So I already sewed the 2 tracks that I wanted to help make the U form, which were just the 2 tracks going across. And I did pin on the next track, and I began sewing just the edges. But this is the track that's right after the 2 that I used to form, and this does make the U shape a lot quicker. As you can see, the U is getting a lot smaller. So I'm just going to sew this around, and I'm going to go on to the next track after I continue sewing this portion around. Alright ladies, so it's kind of difficult for me to do it on camera because of the way the camera's angled, and I have to actually hold the tracks. But on to the next track, almost finished, and I'm just going to continue doing the same. And I don't want the tracks so close together because that just makes a lot of hair on the top. So I'm just going to continue to do the same, and they're probably about, I would say about a ½ inch apart from one another. I did say I don't like the tracks too close together, but when they do become the top crown, they do become a lot closer together. So as you can see, it's all finished, and I'm going on to the very next. And this, I think, is about the second to last track, and which will be the entire bundle. I did use the entire 3 bundles for this actual U-part wig. And it does look like the U is touching at the end, which is fine because I just need just enough space to actually fit the scissor between, so that I can have like the perfect amount of leave out. So I like the U to be really, really tiny. I don't even bother drawing a U. I just make it to where it's really, really tiny. And this is the last track, and this is all that's left. And of course it's not going to be even, and that's okay, because I do actually sew it really close together, so that way the little edges right there are basically laying almost on top of the one underneath it, and you really don't see the smaller, or rather the shorter track, being the way that I cut it. So let's see how the finished shape looks on this U-part wig. All done, as you can see, and the U is really, really tiny, and you probably can't even see where I'm going to cut this between, but there is a tiny bit of space, and you just really need to be careful because you don't want to cut the thread that you've sewn the track onto. But if you do, you can always just sew it right back. It's a really easy fix. And this is the U. It's a really small U, and this is just like an average size leave out. Once it expands, it's not huge and humongous, you know. It gives you about, I would say, 3 inches across for a leave out, and probably about 4.5 inches throughout the back. So as you can see, wig is all done, and I'm just going to show you how it looks at the end. Even though I showed you in the beginning, this is how my wig came out. Very full. I used all 3 bundles of hair, as you can see in the video. And what I'm going to do now, being that I said I was going to give it away as a giveaway, I'm going to co-wash it. And the reason why I did not co-wash it beforehand is because I noticed, and I've done this quite often with a lot of my wigs, especially on the caps, once you co-wash them, it actually helps the cap get a little bit smaller, so it gives it a better fit, and the hair tangles less on the cap to me. So it's for a better fit of the wig, as well as it just dries better and doesn't tangle as much on the cap. So that's how I co-wash mine. If I was going to do just a regular full sew-in, then I would have washed it beforehand. But like this, I'm going to do it like this. So I hope you enjoyed. Stay diva and divalicious.